Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to talk about the animation industry, and we're going to talk about the animation industry reacting to this new deal that their union agreed to. There was a big vote, for those of you who didn't know, to ratify this new contract, and a lot of people in the animation industry are not real happy with the union because the contract did not have a lot of protections for AI.
Yeah, shocker.
Oh my God, guys, shocker. So we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna go out, and I was actually very surprised. I thought more people would be like, yeah, fam, let's go. We got, another contract, and there is a pay increase.
For who's left.
For who's left. And somebody said that the WGA is like the only competent union out there because even SAG-AFTRA kind of dropped the ball with it, and they didn't really have a lot of protections, and they were whoring out their talent within a couple of weeks after signing it to do their the voices via AI. So I guess just make that money while you can make it, But let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Again, Clownfish Minus. Got bonus content out there. We've got merchandise out there. Check out our merch. Thank you very much. You can also go out to clownfishtv.locals.com. So yeah, finally Cartoon Brew covered it a couple of days before Christmas. They were actually kind of late to it. I was surprised. And we did the initial Variety article or deadline or whatever it was. And they talk about how there really weren't a lot of protections for AI. And the commenters, a lot of them who work in the animation industry, are even like, yeah, this was kind of a crap deal. This wasn't great. So good luck with that.
Yes. But what do we know?
Yeah, what do we know? What do we know, guys? So yeah, the Animation Guild tag, IATSE Local 839, received an early Christmas present today.
It depends who you ask.
Depends on my lump of coal, with the announcement that its members have ratified a new 3-year contract with the film and TV animation studios that runs through 2027. Again, not to be that guy, but it gives them time to work on another solution, right? This is, I just want to show you this. This is a guy I've been following on Twitter. This is Lo-Fi Girl. For those of you who aren't familiar, Lo-Fi Girl is a 24/7 music channel on YouTube. It's pretty popular. And they have this 2D animated version of like a Ghibli-esque character doing homework, and they get millions and millions of views. Well, this guy was able to just input the 2D still into this new VO2 AI that Google's working on. I guess he's beta testing it. And it was able to not only animate it, but rotate it in 3D. Is it perfect? No.
But is it good? Yeah.
Is it passable? Yeah.
I think so.
Is it going to save time, especially if you're doing like rotoscoping or something like that? Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking, always when we're talking about AI, we're talking about a lot of the grunt jobs. Obviously you're going to have showrunners, you're going to have directors. You're just not going to have as many grunts. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the speed at which AI is picking up momentum is scary. So they said, yeah, the successful ratification, back to the article, of the contentious deal concludes the negotiating process that started in August. And that's when all the videos about us started.
I know, right?
Isn't that curious?
And again, I'm going to tell you this. If you got more, not everyone's going to have a job.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you don't want to hear that, but do go on about how I don't know what I'm talking about.
Basic economics. The exact same thing happened with the Hollywood studios for live action. Right now, there's so much of Hollywood that's unemployed because they don't need as many people. They're not greenlighting as many shows, and the outlets that normally would, and they talk about this in the comments too, the outlets, the different platforms that would buy animation, they're not doing so hot. So, Disney Channel and Cartoon Network.
And they're going to want to do it cheaper or go someplace else. And, and then we said, hey, you can always start your own thing, which is what a lot of the other people who are higher ups in animation are telling them too, but they don't want to hear that. That's hard. That takes work. They wanted to go into a warm seat and be given everything they want, and you're not going to get that. I'm sorry.
It's so
be
weird.
Pissed.
It's so weird.
Spin.
Sit and spin. It's so weird because people accuse us we get on both sides. We get some people that accuse us of actually working for the studios. And then other people are like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm like, if you go through the history of the channel, I'm just saying our track record's not bad. Go through the history of the channel. Look at some of our earlier videos. I'm just saying. Anyway, despite nearly a quarter of the tag members voting against the deal, supermajority 76% voted in favor of it. The guild says more members participated in the voting process than ever before in the cycle. I think they were afraid they were not going to get a deal at all.
Yeah, here's the kicker, though. There's going to be improvements, but it's for those who are left.
Yeah, and we talked about there were wage increases, bereavement leave, additional sick days, recognition of Juneteenth as a holiday, and whatever. Craft-specific gains, including staffing minimums for writers and significant wins for storyboard artists. Some people said that actually those aren't quite the wins that they're trying to spin it as. The big one is the AI. They're basically like, yeah, you'll get notification that we're going to use AI, but you're not really going to have the power to veto if the showrunner wants to use it or whatever. So let's go down here. They said the ratification deal is not without controversy, with an exceptionally high percentage of TAG's membership voting against the current deal. Compare this to the Writers Guild of America. Last year, 99% of the membership voted in favor. And usually 85 to 90% of TAG, if I remember correctly, usually votes in favor of it. They said that 90% of its negotiations committee team backed the agreement. There were some pretty vocal critics of it, though. But they said that it showed a disconnect between the committee and the rank and file voters who rejected the deal in a far larger number than those who negotiated the deal. Well, yeah, because probably... Now, we're obviously not members of the Animation Guild, but probably the higher-ups in the guild, I'm assuming, are higher-ups in the production pipeline, and they're probably fine. The showrunners are fine. The directors are fine. Again, it's the grunts that there's going to be a problem.
The million storyboard artists.
The million storyboard artists, yeah, right. So they're talking about the director of the Mitchells versus Machines.
Yes, we talked about that, yes.
Yeah, and they're talking about the AI protections being a big deal.
Well, I agree with them. I'd be really upset about that, too. I mean, I don't disagree with them on that.
Yeah, this is Kelly Lynn D'Angelo, another member of TAG's AI committee.
Blue Sky, shocker.
Blue Sky, of course. Voting no could give us leverage. We need to actually get substantial gains. Does it mean we may lose other things negotiated? Yes. Would you give up Juneteenth for better AI protection? I think most people probably would.
How dare you, bigot?
How dare you? But do those things trump more needs in AI outsourcing and staffing minimums? That's your call to make. They're just going to outsource exactly what we said was going to happen. They're going to outsource.
I don't even know what to say anymore because it's like, we told you. You're mad about it.
I don't care if they're mad. I'm sorry. Don't, whatever. It's, we're telling you what we thought would happen based on previous experience covering the Hollywood strikes and how it actually was a double-edged sword where the people that were left had better pay, better conditions.
That and common sense.
A lot of people got gone. The creator of Amphibia, the negotiations committee did an amazing job, and there are great gains for writers and color designers and sheet timers. But there's nothing here to protect us from being replaced with AI. Just my take. Under this agreement, a studio can hand a board artist an AI-generated script and expect them to board it.
Oh, come on. They're going to give us AI to board it.
Yeah. Script? You think it's going to end with the script? That's real. Should we do this? Do I have to show you this again? Remember the other clip that we had where we had the frog character and it looked like a Ghibli animation and the character was mostly consistent clip to clip? Because you can do that now. You can upload assets. I'm just saying it's very, and look, I like Amphibia. I think the guy's a good guy, whatever. I don't have a problem with him, but I'm just saying if you're naive, if you think it's going to stop with a script, like if you think it's just Chat GPT we're talking about, it's like the whole thing.
I know. Also under the agreement, board artists do not receive additional compensation for adjusting dialogue or fixing writing.
No.
So they said we could be asked to fix an AI script and boards with no extra compensation.
I'm going to be honest. I think the script writers at this point have more protection than
probably
the grunts work, because they're going to make sure, the story is right. Like they're going to hire actual writers to write the story and make sure the story is good. And then the actual production work, they're going to cut corners on.
This is interesting. They said prior to the vote, TAG attempted to dismiss the detractors by releasing a statement suggesting people against the contract were a small minority, the vocal minority.
Yeah.
But they said they also admitted they were powerless to stop AI. So here's what they said. It's also important to understand that union contracts alone cannot solve this challenge. As seen in recent contracts of other entertainment unions with far larger memberships and leverage than our own, real long-term change requires broader solutions. Alongside the generative AI guardrails we have gained in this contract, changes include those within the union enforcing of existing protections, lobbying through tags, AI watchdog committee, good luck with that, organizing studios across the U.S. and beyond. Yeah,
the U.S.
Yes, the U.S.
Because China doesn't care.
Yeah, robust government relations, public support for human-made work, tax incentives, support human creativity. If they'll give you that. They'll give you that.
In a perfect world. And this is not us being like neener.
No, because I agree with them. I agree with them about being worried about AI and then they need protections for AI to some extent. But I also understand that it's coming whether you like it or not. And some of the jobs are going to be replaced by AI. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And you're talking to a guy who is older and who has been downsized, outsourced, replaced multiple times in the course of my career. And I'm seeing it happen again. I saw it happen with newspapers to digital, and then you saw it happen with websites to social media. And I mean, I said yesterday in a video talking about Google and how they're basically eating journalists' lunch right now, and they're just taking all the content with AI and turning it into AI snippets. And the meteorite hits everybody at some point in time. Mm-hmm. You just have to be able to run as fast and far away from it as possible, but eventually the meteorite's going to come for you. What is depressing is that you do have a lot of younger people that are not going to be able to have lifelong careers in the creative industry.
Unless they go do their own thing. But apparently it's a no-go for most of them because they start screaming and calling me names.
Well, because there's no union to protect you if you do your own thing. Well, not just the
union.
Right?
It's hard. You have to actually go and do it.
It is hard.
And you don't just get to sit and do your, animation job where you get a paycheck. You just,
Yeah.
You have to be scrappy.
They said, they basically got till 2027. And they said what's clear is a large percentage of animation industry workers are deeply concerned about the future of the industry and how their livelihoods will be affected. Yeah.
Don't blame them.
So let's look at some of the comments here. This guy here, Jeffrey Thrash, says, I can't say anything about in either direction. This all sounds better than what I currently get my non-union job. I do have to wonder if all this AI talk is a symptom of a larger problem that the Western animation industry as a whole seems scarily dependent on linear TV and other 20th century forms of entertainment in an age where fewer and fewer people even watch TV outside of YouTube, and even less can tolerate increasingly long ad breaks on top of cable or streaming fees to keep these shows on the air. Again, a lot of this stuff was greenlit for Disney Channel, for Nickelodeon, for, Paramount Plus and Apple Plus and Plus and Disney, you know what I'm saying? And they spend a ton of money on streaming shows. It takes years for this stuff to go through the pipeline. And, you're going to have your Inside Out 2. You're going to have your Moana 2. But are you going to have another, I don't know, just putting out there, Steven Universe? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Netflix, maybe, because they have surplus money. But even Netflix, they're co-producing and they're outsourcing to other countries. You know what I'm saying? They were, we covered the situation with Carmen Sandiego. They were complaining about that because they were working with a studio in the Philippines that were paying people like $100 a week. It was,
this person, if you read more, they're basically saying indie animation scenes where it's at, but you don't have, most people don't have the money to pay $50,000 to $100,000. And then they said we need their golden age, but the indie animation is somehow becoming a viable job and all the income protections, but it's not likely.
Yeah. I think that's probably your best option for the most part, unless you have a cushy studio job working on tentpole films. I would just say that it's not going to be like it was before where you work for Disney for 30, 40 years. You get your Mickey Mouse watch and they make you a Disney legend and people remember your name specifically when they talk about the great animators. Mm-hmm. It's over.
Hans Gruber when he's not falling out of buildings.
There you go. My understanding is that there's more funny stuff going on at the Animation Guild. This is on Cartoon Brew. After working to add non-artist roles of production workers in the industry to their historically all artist ranks, the AMP tip refused to recognize those positions as members of the bargaining unit because they're supervisory roles. Under the National Labor Relations Act, supervisors are not considered employees with the right to unionize due to potential conflicts of interest. That was the whole thing. In the one company I worked at, they tried to say that everybody was a manager. and that they were allowed to unionize. Like,
well, you're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah, they do that. That's why they always give people these stupid titles. Is like your job. You're basically the gopher. You're a paid intern or whatever. But you're the marketing assistant manager to the whatever. Yeah.
Basically, they're saying that the supervisors weren't supposed to vote, but apparently they did vote.
Yeah. So and they said there was a historic turnout for it. So how much? I mean, that's the thing. I can't speak to that. But, was the voting skewed more than it would have been? Because you've got some pretty heavy hitters coming out and saying this was a really shit deal. But what else are you going to do? Gentlemen, it's been a privilege playing with you, the Titanic. Josh says, it's interesting. When I saw the overwhelming vote to ratify the contract, I was surprised at the 76% majority, as the campaign for a no vote was very vocal. Still, they seem to be a somewhat loud minority. The vote was a bit closer than the previous cycle. That was 87%, which is probably what I would compare it to rather than the WGA's vote percentages.
This next one's interesting. To be clear, it's not staffing minimums. It's the language for staffing minimums. There is a freelance exception built in. Classic tag will undercut every gain.
Yeah, a lot of people, and we'll go out to Reddit. I expected a lot more chatter about this, and everybody's being eerily quiet. Like, I think what happened is there probably was a lot of people that were not happy with this deal, but they're going to shut up because they don't want to be.
They're afraid they won't be one of the ones to get it.
They're afraid that they're going to accuse you of, standing with Clownfish TV. How dare you?
The truth is, everyone in the animation industry is demoralized.
Yes.
No shit. There is the consensus that the complete lack of protections against AI and outsourcing is atrocious. Yeah, well, yeah. At the same time, there's a sense of hopelessness that nothing can be done to mitigate them. Don't blame you, because I don't know what can be done to mitigate it. This, coupled with workers being decimated by years of job scarcity, has made people desperate and even resentful to the union. Dark times for the U.S. animation industry. Are you allowed to say that? Because if you say that, they come at you and make videos and tell you that you're full of shit. How very dare you? Yeah,
it's every time I go out to animation Reddit, everybody's complaining about how there are no jobs.
I know, but what do we know?
Look, good luck to you, I guess, if you want to believe that everything's fantastic. I don't think it is. This is coming from an animation subreddit, Animation Career. The union approved the agreement. Now what? This person, Fonzie Winesy, says, I'm not personally convinced it was the strongest agreement we needed at this day and age. I'd love to imagine we had the power, strength, determination to push for something more proactive in terms of AI and outsourcing, but I'm the first person to admit I can't even imagine half the politics that happen behind the scenes, so I'm sure it's a lot more complicated. Basically, they took what they could get, right? Because you cannot tell the studios, no, we're vehemently against AI and outsourcing. You're not allowed to do it. They're going to be like, fuck you. We're going to get rid of all of you. We'll just replace all of you.
The next part, though, I'm honestly still worried for the future of the industry in California. Are you allowed to say that?
What?
But that might also come from me having more than 20 years in this career and not being able to find much work the last 2 years. It's a weird time right now.
A lot of people.
But the industry in California specifically. Yes, because it's moving out of California. It's being outsourced. That's what we've been saying.
Yeah. This person said, with the passing of this agreement, I've officially lost the last shred of faith I had for a stronger, healthier, and brighter future for the industry. Grab your butts, folks. The ship is sinking.
Are you allowed to say that? Oh my God. It's almost like what we said is true.
I don't think they should have approved it because it didn't address outsourcing and AI protections. From what I remember, outsourcing to me is the biggest problem. Yeah, because they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, union animators in California cost 5 times as much as having it done in overseas. So, or we'll just Netflix, their solution, and they're already doing it, is they're like, yeah, we'll just co-produce with Japan or, whatever, Korea, and we'll bring the stuff over here and it actually performs better.
Well, this next one, they're talking about it. They're just like talking about the leadership in general and that they told him. But what's interesting to me is I don't know who this contract really benefits, but it sure isn't the average aspiring animator or out of work member. Maybe directors on long running sitcoms or feature board artists are happy for the pay raises, but to everyone else, the ladder was just pulled up a little higher.
What?
Hey, good luck if you're still in LA.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, we have read the stories, we've heard stories, we have people come to us and they're just like, things are terrible. And I'm not just talking animation, I'm talking anybody working in Hollywood at this point, unless you're up the ladder, further up the food chain, that you're not really affected. All the below the line workers are highly affected. And a lot of the people that are on the lower rung of the ladder are affected. People that have been working in Hollywood for decades can't find work. Everything's bad. But yeah, why tell membership in the public this is our last chance if it isn't? Why say studios are scared of us if they're not? The whole thing felt like a bluff, not only to corporations, but also toward members. This deal only helps the minority of artists in LA who still have their jobs. It doesn't even affect me very much as I work non-union overseas, but it still feels like a slap in the face because I wanted to come enter the guild someday and now I can't since the union voted on a contract that doesn't have staffing minimums or outsourcing protections. Again, no recourse. I don't know who this contract benefits.
That's what I said. I read that part, yes.
This person says, I voted yes. I like the increased minimums. I'm not convinced staffing minimums for animation writers is the silver bullet people think it is. Especially, oh my God, especially with no new shows being made. Yeah, so, I mean, most of the reactions I've read are negative, or they're not saying anything. I'm not seeing a lot of talk. Like, I'm not seeing people out there doing victory dances or anything like that. I'm seeing people like, yeah, we signed it. It wasn't great.
Either people didn't sign it or the ones that did were like, well, it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. And that's, honestly, if I were in that position, I probably would do the same. I'm going to be honest. I'd probably do the same thing. I'd be like, because if we don't sign it, we get nothing. And they're going to replace us either way. So we might as well have a couple of years to go look for another job or retrain or something.
You get yourself some time.
You buy yourself some time. That's basically what they did. So let's wrap this up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.